thank you, Natalie, for being here today. As we were just discussing, we wanted to do a couple of interviews and put into this prosperity project group so that people can meet real people that I'm working with, because I talk about you clients all the time, saying what we're up to. And Natalie, when we met and you jumped in, that was only not even a year ago now. And I know we laugh a little bit about what's gone on for you. It's been quite a roller coaster at times, in good ways. So I guess I want to talk with you about that today so that others can hear a real journey from a real person, not just my examples. So the first question I have for you, first of all, thank you for your time and being so vulnerable to do this. The first thing, can you remember how you felt even when you went on the training? I think you came on a training initially, a free training such as the one we've just done in Prosperity Project.
Yes, I madly wrote lots of notes. I still remember it because I still have those notes. But yeah, I just remember thinking, oh, this just aligns with everything that's sort of happening at the moment. So I think what I was telling you just previously about business coaching compared to what this program is, I'd always tried business coaching, but it just never quite seemed to be the right fit for what I needed. So yeah, when I listened to you for that week, I just knew, like, the end of that week, I was like, this is like the type of program that I need. So yeah, I was just it just resonated. I can't 100% remember what you spoke about, but I remember it, it resonated with me, and I was like, this is the type of program that I needed, and it was just fitting in with, I think the notes I was writing was just fitting in with everything that seemed to be happening at that moment, and thinking, oh yeah, this all pretty much seems to be the track I'm going on. So yeah,
good.
So I got that vibe straight away.
Yeah, and that's good, because it's not a fit for everybody. And like you said earlier, it needs to be a fit. Like I deliver it, it's me you're talking to. You listen to Bob, obviously, but yeah, I'm the person that walks alongside of you when you're going. What happened for you when it came time? You and I had a chat. How did that feel when it came time for the, making the decision to jump in? How did that feel? Can you remember?
Yeah, I think because I had already decided, like, this was something that I really wanted to do. It was different to previous business coaching that I had done. So I don't think I hesitated too much. I think I just thought, yep, this is something different that I haven't done before, and I think it would really make me learn a lot about myself. So yeah, I don't think I had too much hesitation at all. I just, I think I just felt, like I said before, I had the vibe. It was in line with some stuff that was happening in my life at that moment. And I thought, well, this will hopefully let me expand on it.
Yeah. Did you feel any anxiousness once you'd signed up for working with me? Because I know it was a 12 months you signed up for. Did you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I thought, 12 months is a long time. But
what's going to happen?
I think once I make that decision, I'm usually pretty good with the decision. So and maybe I just felt a little bit more comfortable because obviously I already was like running a business. So money wise, I sort of had money there, even if I didn't have it personally. It was sort of something that was there, which may have assisted me in making the decision. So yeah, I guess I wasn't fully in fear of not being able to pay you. So I think that like assisted me with my decision making. But yeah, I was obviously in a very bad mentality of personally not having money. But yeah, I think I felt a slight bit of comfort around the fact that business money was there.
Yeah. And what was without going into any detail you don't want to share, what were you looking for mainly? What were you hoping to achieve or receive?
I guess I didn't really have any. I know we work on goals and stuff, didn't really have any of that in place to begin with. But the program just looked interesting to me. So I thought I could learn a bit about myself. But I think really I didn't realize what I could learn till I was in the in the program.
Yeah.
It brought to me so much. So until I received, obviously, the program and everything, and I think everyone that receives it thinks, oh, you get this big booklet, but I know it's for a year, but you do have a mini panic attack when you do first of all, get the information.
Yes.
But, you know, it's achievable and it's workable with you, and you guide us. So, yeah, I guess everyone probably is a little bit like anxious to begin with. So.
Yeah, to start. And you don't know what the change. I
think it's overwhelming. A little bit.
Someone yesterday said to me, oh, I'm a bit afraid of what I'll find out. And I was the same when I started. I was like, well, this is bigger than I thought initially. Like there's more, I'm learning more than I imagined I would about myself. Let's talk about the workload then. A lot of people are like, oh, you know, the time commitment. How did you find that? You're obviously a busy business person. How did you find the time commitment?
I think like anyone, when you first join a course, you're really enthusiastic. So I made the time because I was like, right, I've joined this course and everything. But I will admit it did get a bit overwhelming. So I was doing a lot, probably more than I needed to, which made it like overwhelming because I was like, oh, I want all this information. It's such good information. Yes. But then it got to a stage where it just overwhelmed me. And then I realized, like, you know, I'm not going to know the whole program in one day. So I had to learn to slow down.
Not an overachiever at all.
So I had to learn to slow down because I was just excited to keep. I think a lot of people will be similar to me, but I was excited to learn the next new thing, but I didn't necessarily complete the previous thing. So as you were going along, a lot of people don't complete what they should in the program. But that's just because we're so anxious to get that next little bit because we know it's going to be fantastic. So
it's interesting as you say that, Natalie, too. I think we always get what we need, and we know that, and you know that now. It's like we don't need to stuff it all in. We take what we take as we go through it. And for those watching this, we now operate it over the 6 months, which ends up being 8 months because we have our creative space weeks. So it sort of gives you that little break in between, which you probably appreciated the introduction of. Gives you a week to just digest, catch up, you know. So that's been really, really good. So, you know, 8 months is.
It was a little adjustment, I must admit, though, because not having it means you've got to do something yourself. So you always had that commitment every Thursday night or whatever. And then when you started doing those creative spaces, admittedly, I probably didn't do anything in a couple of them because you didn't have that person pushing you. So it makes you actually think, oh, actually, I need to get myself going this week. And then I just, every Thursday night at that time, because that's the night, I make sure I do stuff in that period because that was my routine. But
and some people book a massage, you know, some people book a massage or do something different, which is the whole essence of it, stepping out of your routine and letting yourself do that and knowing that you're okay, so that we don't stay in a rut and we have the ability to jump in and out, which is great. What would have been the first thing that you noticed as you excitedly gobbled up, like I said, you're almost an overachiever, you were very, very keen. What was the first thing that you noticed start to change in you and or in your surroundings, in your circumstances?
So obviously just from learning the material, I guess I just started having a little bit more confidence like every day within myself. And I think once I started the program, I could see things changing because my thinking patterns were changing around confidence and being positive and, you know, not feeling like a victim, I guess. So I think because I could see a few changes start at the beginning, that encourages you to think, oh, well, you know, there's more out there, and this is just something little that we're dealing with at the moment. So I think it's important to have little things going on whilst you're focusing on a bigger picture. But the main things that changed for me to begin with was my self-confidence and my probably self-image. They were the main things.
Do you remember the day I won't forget it, when you called me. And one of the issues you were having, one of the challenges you were having when we started, completely turned on its head, and you rang me with a bit of a, oh, it's like the hose is turned on and it won't turn off sort of thing. Do you remember that day? It's fairly early
Maybe.
on.
I was probably talking a million miles an hour too, because
Yes,
that's how I used to talk. Every time I spoke to you, I think I spoke at like, 200 words per minute or something. But yeah, it's and it's been a continual thing like that. But you just got to, you learn to manage, because things are changing in your life as well. So it's a great problem to have. But yeah, it was like, oh my God, what am I going to do?
So the growth, right?
Then I've been able to hire somebody and all that sort of thing. So I've got more clarity now, and I'm much more busier, but I still have those like phases. I'm having one this week where it's just absolutely manic. And you just got to be careful not to keep yourself swept up in that. So it's nice to, at the end of the day, I always put on Bob's video of gratitude, like his little video, meditation video. I listen to that every night.
It was just lovely to see for Natalie. She'd been in business a little while, and had incremental growth and bits and pieces pull back, and then it just seemed to be like the hose was turned on, and it was just like, wow. And like you said, it just kept going. And now her biggest problem was, okay, how do I do this? And she is far more calm now than you used to be. What would you say to people that, and you weren't one of those in the sense that you did the training when you did it and thought, yep, I'm ready for this. What would you say to people that are perhaps feeling like they want to, but they're scared? They're not in the place you were. They don't know what this program is. They're not sure, will it work for me? We've all had those sort of thoughts. What is there anything you'd say to them from where you're at and what you know about it?
I think what I didn't realize before joining was actually working on yourself would make such a change to just anything in my outside world. So I think it's hard to know why. Everyone's going to have an individual reason why they'd want to do the training. But I think because before I joined, I was starting to have those thoughts of, I just want to continue business, etc. So I'd started doing auto-suggestion, which is what we learn in this course prior to doing it. So I think, I don't know the answer to that one.
That's okay. That's okay.
Why would someone want to do,
what would you say to them?
Because it's always hard to describe the value you get out of it compared to you.
Yeah.
I think I just naturally saw the value in your 1 week course. But the course is so much
I guess
more
let me
rephrase it.
That's right. Would you do it all over again, even given the investment? Let's talk about that. There's an investment of money that you have to make. And like you said, you're a business, so you can claim it as a business expense, and it's a less scary thing than just as an individual, perhaps. Would you do it all over again? Or do you think, oh, you know what, maybe it wasn't worth the investment I made?
Oh, no, it's definitely worth the investment that you make. So, I think you just don't realise by doing the course and doing the thinking, you're actually making a deeper connection to yourself. A lot of the time we think it's all these outside forces, but what the course has taught me is that literally the whole world, you need to be working on yourself and getting a deeper connection to yourself, and then everything else just falls into place. So all the structure for the program, we call it structure, but it's just a guidance and to help us figure things out. So I wouldn't say, it's not like doing homework all the time. I know we sometimes refer to it as homework, but it's learning about yourself. And by doing that, it's raised my self-confidence, you know, I've learned to appreciate myself more, love myself more, and it's learnt me to be able to have better communication with my family and everything just from doing the course. But I think the main thing is you actually build a deep connection with yourself. You learn about yourself and how you think, and the negative and the positives that
and would
come
you
with
say
that.
In that, if I can jump in there, as you say, you've said it a number of times, you build this connection with yourself. I've found, and I want to hear what you think, there's a guidance system in all of us, and we start to hear that far more clearly when we have that connection with ourselves.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Yeah, I think and I think for me, I had to settle my brain down. I had so much going on in my brain, and I used to talk a million miles an hour, but now I can actually step back and think about, or even think before I speak, what am I meant to be saying here? And I think that just helps us live a more clearer life, a more positive life.
The order, I think I've seen you've got an order in your mind now, and you're in control rather than the programming, which used to just gallop away, it seemed, and you were
I just lived in a stress mode
all the time.
Stress mode, no money. You know, it was so I think I thought I came into the program.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I was just going to say, I think I thought I came into I didn't think I'd learn as much about myself. I just thought, well, you know, this is going to help me grow my business and everything. And I think I probably thought what I was going to be writing about was more along the lines of my business. But what I ended up writing about was myself, and how my thinking patterns are. So I guess I probably thought it was a different thing when coming into it, still around stuff, but I think I thought I was going to just continually be working on business and how I get that off the ground, but that's just been a byproduct of me working on myself. So and
that is brilliant. I love that, because Natalie's had some huge results change in her business, and yet here she is saying that wasn't even her focus was herself. And her, you know, if we were to talk about the detail, you've had an amazing shift, like you said, and personally it's very obvious, so it's lovely. So we talked about the money, so I guess that's sort of it. The community, we talked a little bit about that the other day with one of the other community members. Have you felt the value of that, the community?
It's nice to be in a community
sessions.
I think because this is something new and you're learning, it's always good to be in a community who is doing the same program, can understand your thoughts and, you know, how this is all going to work. So it's a support system, and, you know, got to know some of the guys and girls, and it's just nice to have that and catch up every now and then, because when you're talking to your friends, they don't understand the program that you're doing, so it doesn't really make sense to them. I think me and Kate were talking at a catch up, and so it's just nice to have people who actually understand your thought process of what you're working on at the moment, because it's a little bit different to what people are used to.
Very much.
But the support network is really nice. It's nice to have a separate Facebook group and everything where you can put things into.
It's good. Well, I think that is probably all the questions I have. Is there anything you would want to leave, say, to wind it up for people?
I mean, I guess I wholeheartedly would recommend anyone do this program, because you learn so much about yourself, which in turn, like I said before, creates all these different opportunities, because now you realise how much potential that you have and how you can change, which in turn changes your life. I mean, I went from, like I said before, having no money, now I put money away, you know, saving for certain things and everything, and I just don't even think about not having money anymore. It's just, I just know it's going to be there. But I think if you're wanting to get out of like the ruts that we sometimes get into with your fear of money, or even if it's just other things, you have to work on yourself. And this program has been the best thing that I can implement this program in all areas of my life. So wholeheartedly, would say it's definitely worth the investment, but you've obviously got to do the program to make it work for you.
Got to do the work.
But
absolutely.
It's in all areas of your life. It'll help in all areas of your life. So if it's not business that you're thinking of doing this for, it definitely helps in all areas of your life, and it definitely changes you.
And I think you said it so well, because it affects every area of your life, because it's about you, and we are the common denominator in every area of our life. So when we change, everything changes, and it's good change, and I think, isn't it? It's
and I think I said before as well, like how I've changed my communication with my family and stuff as well, because you're actually thinking clearer, and it actually helps you assess situations they're going through so that you can help them better, instead of being in maybe that victim mentality with them. It'd be like, oh, well, hang on a minute, let's look at it this way. So it's actually been able to help with my communication, and, just being able to, spend more time with family and everything, and just get out of that, work all the time. But it's definitely beneficial to help you communicate with other people as well. That's what I've learned anyway.
Absolutely. And for those of you with children, I know Natalie has a daughter as well, and how wonderful to be able to pass on what we're learning, so that, like you said, it's real tools, isn't it, for them to be able to use in their life. And so
and you can join it in, like with kids like me and my daughter, my youngest, we have a vision board each in the lounge room that we can look at like every day, but it creates a conversation. So it's like, oh how's this going, have you achieved anything, received anything off your vision board and everything. And it just gives that continual conversation starter, because we see it in our lounge room. But it's nice to be able to take what you've learned and teach it to your kids.
Imagine where they'll be by the time they're our age, knowing what they know now, which is phenomenal, isn't it, really?
I think the funny thing is, everything we've learned here, we probably touched a little bit on it at school, because my daughter says, oh, that's manifestation, all this sort of stuff. I don't remember learning any of that at school, because we forget it as an adult. We get into our busy lives, and we, everything, we start off as kids and, no fear, no anything. And then as we grow up, all these fears enter in, and then you go into the workforce and you've got to deal with people, and then you forget again. So this is kind of like reversing back to, getting clarity in your life, having no fear, and trying to get rid of all the bad behaviors that have happened.
We've actually called the course, like our container of this course, Unlearn and Return, for that reason, because that's what we're doing. We're unlearning all the things that we've learned, and we're returning to who we truly are. And like you say, it is perfect, and it's so refreshing. So I just want to say a huge thank you to you, Natalie, because you've been really open, and, as I knew you would be, just a beautiful soul sharing your experience, which is a vulnerable thing to do. So I appreciate that. And if anyone watching, pleasure. Anyone watching this in the group, if you have any questions or comments, do put them in the chat below, in the comments below, and you can either tag Natalie, she's in the group, or me. I'll be keeping my eye on them, and if you have any questions, we can always answer them for you. So thank you sincerely, and I'll see you on a call tonight.
Double dose today.